Roof lanterns traditionally are a glazed product that goes on top of a flat roof for a single-story extension, which bring in a lot of light.
Roof lanterns specifically are a pitched product that sits on top, usually of a flat roof. The industry's seen a bit of a resurgence of them in the recent years as conservatories have declined in the market and more people are looking at brick-built extensions that can add value to their properties. So again, they start to fit this sort of product in order to bring light into these new extensions they're building.
They choose to have a single-story extension built, which is a fully usable room, unlike conservatories, which are nowadays a little bit more out of vogue because they are colder in the winter, too hot in the summer.
As soon as you put a flat roof on something, you kill all the light that goes into that space. So getting light in from above, natural light, is really quite important, and the lantern will really provide that. It's also there as an architectural feature. It's something to look at. You can put them above island units and kitchens and such like, and they become a really good centrepiece for the room.
So in terms of materials for lanterns, there are three basic choices. You've got timber, you've got PVC, and you've got aluminium.
So at the top end of the market, you've got the real traditional roof lantern, which would be a timber construction. But there's a lot of cost associated with getting it made from wood because they're not usually systems as such. They've got to be built by a craftsman. It's a lot more time consuming. The material's harder to work with because it's got a mind of its own. And obviously you have to paint it as well to get a good finish on it. And painting is, again, expensive with undercoats, etc. In
the last 10-15 years, there's PVC and aluminium. PVC is a more cost-effective product, perhaps. Its aesthetics for me aren't there. It's more bulky, it's a little bit more flimsy, it needs to be supported more, and also on top of that it expands with the heat a lot more than aluminium does, which means that you can get twisting and buckling on the PVC top caps and any other PVC elements on that roof, which you don't get with aluminium.
But you get a lot of choice of colours, you can get a lot of choice, you can get wood grain finishes and things like that, you can get foiled PVC. But a lot of these are based on older conservatory roof systems, technology's a bit older, but as a result they're quite a lot cheaper.
With aluminium, it's a very stable product, so you don't get the contraction expansion that you would with a PVC. And also with aluminium, it's a very stiff, very strong product. So in order to get the bulk required for the rafter, which is the spars on the roof, you don't need as much material there, so you can get a thinner, more contemporary look.
Strength is an important consideration. If you're going for a particularly large glass span, or you want minimal rafters, you really should be looking at the quality of the material that this thing's built from. PVC ones don't lend themselves so well to very large glass spans. If I was a self-builder or renovator looking for the best product in class, I would be tempted to go around to the aluminium option because it's a nice balance between cost, but holding that traditional look. And with modern powder coating technology, everything's coated to a Qualicoat standard nowadays in this industry. So you're looking at a 10-year warranty on paint, there's low maintenance, it's not going to deform with time, it's a nice strong structure, it's going to be able to resist wind and snow loading. And obviously, yeah, you get a nice traditional design. So thermal efficiency is something you should be looking at. You want to make sure that this thing's got a good U value. There'll probably be a requirement in your building regs for what that will be. Some companies will be able to give you an individual U value for any given design. That's important. You can't just have a blanket U value. That would be a centre pane value for the glazing, but obviously there's a lot more components involved in this roof. You need to ensure that the company you're talking to can give you accurate data on what the U value of your completed roof is to get the calculations correct at the end.
Let's be honest, it's not going to be as good as an insulated roof. It's impossible. You've got 10 inches of kingspan or what have you. This is not that. Nowadays, with modern lantern products, there is what we call a thermal break. And what that is, it's a piece of what we call polyamide, which is a nylon, a plastic, which is incredibly good at insulating against thermal bridging.
And it's actually physically rolled in between the aluminium to space one piece of aluminium element from the other. Also, in some of the roof systems, there'll be a PVC T-bar, where the PVC T-bar is fitted onto the internal structure and the top caps actually clip into it, and that again provides that thermal break between the two. You need to make sure that you've got a decent thickness of thermal break in any aluminium structure, or that you have a polymer or you've got a timber roof.
A self-builder or a renovator or a builder should be looking for these products these days, these ones with the thermal breaks in. Because we're all about green, we're all about retaining heat and having a small carbon footprint. And by eliminating the heat transfer, which is essentially cold, you are eliminating wasted heat. So in terms of solar gain, you're talking about glass, you're talking about the glazed element of these products. For a start, they have what you call an argon fill. So it's an inert gas which has a very low transmission of heat. It's an insulator between the two glazed panels in the double glazed unit. On top of that, you've got a thermal spacer. The traditional method would have been an aluminium spacer, which is the part that separates the glass. What we use now is more of a composite, a plastic spacer bar. So again, with it being plastic, it doesn't let the heat transfer. You've got a soft coat on the inside, so that will act to reflect any heat in your room back in, so you're not losing it the other way. So when looking for a product and looking for the best in class, what the consumer should be looking out for is that, first of all, that it's been designed properly. So there are certain things like BBA, which is a British Board of Agreement, which basically is a standard that the roof is built to, is manufactured and designed to, which complies with certain regulations like Eurocodes or BS standards.
Lead time's important. If you've got to rely on a 2 months lead time or something like that, and you build it and it's not the size you thought it was and you need to make a change, that's a lot of time waiting. And really, once it's built, you've got to have probably a plywood board screwed down over the top of it. It's not the ultimate waterproofing solution for your property. So being able to get one to site within a week, that's very important.
The products that have been developed these days, very much like our core niche, it's been developed so that it's incredibly simple and easy to fit.
You want a product that you can feel confident installing yourself. If you're going to do it as a self-build, you don't want to find halfway through that you're not quite sure how something goes together and you wish you had someone experienced to help you. You need something that is blow by blow, very, very simple to follow, to give you that confidence before you even start that it's going to go as you expected. The best thing to do really is go and see these products, go to shows, get your hands on them, go and ask the manufacturers difficult questions, ask them what do they do when they have a unit breakdown, how easily can you do any sort of remedial works on the roofs, what material are you getting for your money. And again, you've got to remember that the glass is the cheap bit. Anybody who's trying to persuade you that you've got some really expensive, fantastic glass, it's probably just the same as everybody else's glass and they're just giving it a clever brand name. It's the product ultimately that you're purchasing. And you've got to remember you've got to look at this thing for the next 20 or 30 years. You know, you've got to make sure you make the right choice.
The benefits of having one of these products on your home, apart from the fact that you're creating another room because it's a single story extension that you've probably put up, so you're adding value to your house, the main thing is the amount of light these things bring in. You're not losing heat in the winter, it's keeping it a nice temperature in the summer because of the performance glazing, and it makes it a lovely, airy, light place to be.
So getting natural light into your home is fantastic. You know, just generally being in a room that's got a lot of natural daylight is a pleasant place to be, and it's going to enhance any room, be it a kitchen, be it a sitting room, you know, whichever. And again, you know, when you're looking at reselling your property as well, this kind of thing, these having a lantern is that sort of wow factor that's going to stop buyers in their tracks, and they're going to think, you know, this is a really nice place. I can really imagine myself living in here, and there's a value in that.